The MLS new season cards are here, and let me just preface this by saying this has been an expensive one for me for more reasons than one. I'll start off the video by being honest. I made the biggest mistake I've made in crypto in almost 6 years. For anyone unaware, I play Footium, where I managed to sell a few rares to accumulate an F balance of 2 Ethereum in my Arbitrum wallet. And I thought, you know what, that's pure profits right there. Let's take half of that and put it into Sorare to mess around with for these new MLS season cards. Now, I did the bridge from Arbitrum 1 over to the Ethereum network. Even did a little tester balance first. It was all fine, no problems. The issue then came from me being an absolute dumbass, because at that point I forgot to change the network over from Arbitrum to Ethereum when depositing on Sorare, and I directly deposited 1 Ethereum into the wrong network, which was not ideal. No idea why I didn't do a tester deposit like I did for the bridge. I just went into full autopilot mode, and that was dumb, as despite exporting my Sorare private key and setting it up on MetaMask under the Arbitrum 1 network, the 1 Ethereum is straight up gone. It's stuck on the Sorare contract itself, and after checking with Sorare support, we have no chance of getting that back. That network is inaccessible. There's nothing to be done. So I'm gonna have to write off $2,000 off the King's finest. That's $2,000 that's been absolutely pissed into the wind. But you live and learn. I don't learn very often, and I'll probably do something stupid again, but there you go. I mean, the silver lining is that at least it was purely profits from winning quizzes on Footium, for fuck's sake, you know. It's not even the aspect of the money that annoys me. $2,000 is obviously a decent chunk of money, don't get that twisted, but at the same time, you can't do anything significant with $2,000. I can't buy a house or a town with $2,000. You just can't do it. So it's more the annoyance of knowing I could have used the extra 1 Ethereum to gamble on some web-free crypto projects or some shit. You know, I could fuck about on Sorare or on Footium with some new cards, for instance. But as they say, there's no use crying over spilt milk, especially due to the fact that I'm lactose intolerant, so I find this whole episode highly offensive. So that's all been very AIDS in a cup, and on top of all of this, the MLS prices are fucking spenny, but I'm in full fuck it mode when it comes to Sorare. This MLS 2025 season is essentially my last hurrah on the platform, so to speak, to see if we can do anything here. 1 Ethereum has now gone into the Sorare account, from the original bridge I did, and we're here to spend it. Now, I was thinking of a Nashville rare stack, but then I've seen on Twitter that McBride Ace has already got the full 1 out of 122 man collection, so that idea is kind of out of the window. I feel like I'd be fighting shadows there already, but we power on with other ideas. So let's take a look at my MLS setup for the 2025 season, beginning with the Classic cards. Now, I won't spend too much time here on Classic, but starting with my Super Rare team, however, let's take a look at this, and let's be honest here, it's kind of dog shit. We all know this. Martins, who pairs with Fries in net, is injured, so Dave Romney deputizes for the first game week. I'm not even sure if Wolf will start, but hopefully he's hungry if he does. My rare team is then the Austin FC gang combined with an Ure and a Fagundes. Fagundes could be an interesting one for the start of the season, because at LA Galaxy, he'll be replacing the injured Paintsil, who's out for 2 months. So, if Fagundes starts the season off well, he could be an important player here, and it could be hard to displace him in the team. So we'll see how he goes. My main Classic Limited team, then, is fairly strong, all things considered, but, Classic is very competitive at Limited level. We know that. We've got Kalina in between the sticks, probably the best goalkeeper of the 2024 season, I think a lot of pundits would say, and he's surrounded by some major talents in the league in the form of Wagner, Acosta, who now plays for Dallas, Rossi, and Gazdag. Now, I'm surprised Wagner remains at Philadelphia, but, happy he does so for my Sorare ambitions, and we just have to then hope that Rossi can step up in the absence of Cucho Hernandez, who was left for Europe, and then as well that Acosta, as I mentioned, can settle and start strongly at Dallas. It's always a bit of an unknown on the first game week of any season, who's going to slot into their respective teams straight away. And I've even then got these 2 backup lineups down here that I'm not really expecting anything to arise from. Sort of just chucking in players where I had them spare into whatever teams left I could fit them in. The group of misfits, as we say, but now the bread and butter of it all, my in-season teams for the 2025 season. And these were fucking expensive, as I say, so let's start with Limited. My main team, or the team I am most confident about to produce rewards across the season, coming in at over £400 of the King's finest. Again, that man Kalina, and he's next to Alba, Carlos Gil, Messi, and Suarez, so very Inter Miami focal, as you can see here, but for good reason. Alba is one of the strongest defenders in the league in terms of Sorare scoring, so he's a must-have for any top team realistically. And, Messi and Suarez, they speak for themselves, of course. The Barcelona band back together there. Messi is still one of the best scorers in the game right now, despite his advancing age. Whether it's his last season in the MLS, who knows, but hopefully he can finish with a strong one, and his scores will lift this team to brand new heights and some higher end finishes on the leaderboard, where we'll be competing for cash money prizes. So I would like to recuperate some of that Ethereum I've shat into the wind. Will this be enough overall to recuperate the cost of entry for this team over the course of the season? That's the golden question, the question on everyone's lips right now. And it could be tough, right? The reward pools fade off very quickly from the top end, there's no question about that. But we're just going to have some fun, we're going to see what we can do here, and just hope that maybe we can beat the game a few times as well. You know, if we're lucky, which historically, I've not been very lucky. Limited Team 2 is much less expensive, coming in at a third of the price of that first team. You know, in fact, Messi was more expensive than this whole team combined. This team being made up of Stuver, Byro, and then a Nashville contingent of Mukhtar, Tagzev, and Sorare. Question marks over whether Mukhtar will start and, you know, be fully fit and ready for the first fixture of the MLS season. But, you know, fuck it, full send, we're putting him in there. For anyone unaware, I'm very high on Nashville this season, so I'm hoping these lads can go strong. I think they've got the makings of a very good squad here, and Tagzev could be an integral part of that. You know, he could add another dimension to the squad in both terms of defense, attack, and transition over at Nashville. So hopefully all of those assets and attributes can be converted into some lovely Sorare scores. And then the final limited team, and this is actually a team that was initially selected by ChatGPT, but we've had to make a few changes due to potential injuries and, you know, avoiding fixture clashes in Game Week 1 as it goes. So fuck knows what this team's really gonna do, but we're gonna fucking go with it, and it's still a costly team that can hopefully be semi-competitive at the limited level. Moranchuk being the focal pivot in this team and in the Atlanta side. You know, that should bring him many decisives as their main man. I guess you would say Arango is the strange one, right? As he hadn't really been on my radar in the build-up to the season. But, you know, hey, if we can't trust the robots to build me a winning team, then who can we trust? Now, the rare team's certainly harder to shop for as a lower scarcity combined with a high initial demand, and, you know, they're certainly more expensive, we know that. So I tried to pigeonhole the teams with more well-rounded options as a whole instead of individually buying the top-end players for them. And what I mean by that is, of course, stacking. We all love stacking. Not really. Team 1, however, is very Philadelphia Union-based. Nathan Harriel looks set to miss the opener in defense, so Byro will be coming in as a makeshift, you know, cheap option there, with Zinkernagel, the new signing of Chicago Fire, making up the extra spot to help with my second team's composition, which we'll get to in a moment. In terms of Philadelphia Union themselves, they should come back stronger for a better season here in 2025. We all live and hope. Selling Jack McGlynn, however, was certainly a strange one in my eyes. I didn't quite get that, but you know, this is what they've done, and they've brought in some midfield replacements, so it's not all doom and gloom there. Now, the one we all would have wanted in a Philadelphia Union stack is, of course, that defender I mentioned earlier, Kai Wagner. He was a bit out of the price range at rare level, unfortunately, which, you know, certainly hurts this lineup, no question about that. But you have to make a few sacrifices with the budget at hand when shopping at the rare level. Gazdek himself, who does slide into the team, is obviously a penalty merchant, right? So more of those would be lovely, with Uri hopefully being able to step up in the absence of Carranza, who again left for Europe in the summer. Now, the cost of this team is, well, it's tough to think about. I've spent over £500 here. I would be surprised if I gathered this back over the course of the season, but, you know, fuck it, that's the dream. We live in hope, and we're going to give it the good old college try. Now, the final and second in-season rare team of today, it currently feels a bit slapdash with a double defensive St. Louis FC pairing in Watson Kessler. But as of recording, I'm looking at spending this final bit of Ethereum in my account on a better option to fill in that extra spots. You know, looking at players in the form of Two Shirts or Lewin. You know, again, midfielders and forwards of St. Louis FC. Those auctions run right up until the game week deadline, so all options are available for me here. And I'm probably just going to spend the Ethereum I've got, right? No point just holding it in the account and, you know, fucking putting it on the wrong network or some shit. So we're going to spend that shit on hopefully a better extra slot player there to really, you know, tighten up this team. Even if I have to look at the instant buy market, right, which is something I never do, it completely goes against my soul using the instant buy market, but if I have to before the deadline, I probably fucking will. So we've got options there. Otherwise the main aim of this second team is just to have some fun, maybe beat the game once or twice, and just see if we can add any additional pocket change for the fans. Now overall, let's not beat around the bush here with all of this. It's most likely not a very good use of the Ethereum in my account, spending this all on overpriced MLS cards where I'll likely struggle to compete and probably won't make my money back. But then again, losing 1 Ethereum to the wrong network is probably a worse use of money. Wow, what a terribly expensive week in the life of an autistic man, but hey, if you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at? I suppose in your case, still me. So I'll catch you next time, because I love you.